Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday evening. So I would like to talk about Rahab today. Okay, I woke up at 2:30 in the morning one morning and all I heard was Rahab. So I know that that was God's way of telling me, hey, give a message about Rahab. All right, so we all know Rahab, right? Rahab was a Canaanite woman. She was a prostitute. That's kind of what her job title was. I don't know if it was like a side job or it's a full-time position, but it says that she was a prostitute, right? All right, so you know the journey of the Israelites through the wilderness, needing to enter into the promised land, correct? So Joshua, he sends two spies to seek out the land of Canaan, you know, because like they don't want to just attack like that. They want to know where the soldiers are and everything like that. So he sent two spies, and they found themselves at Rahab's house. I do believe that there is some significance to them going to Rahab's house and not finding themselves at like somebody else's house, you know? So anyways, they found themselves at Rahab's house. So Rahab, she hid them, okay? She hid them, and she hid them under her roof. And news went back to the king, and the king, you know, and the soldiers and everybody else, they were like, hey, Rahab, where's the spies? And she's like, well, yeah, they were here, but they left. She like straight up lied, okay? She told the soldiers that they left. And she was like, oh, hurry up and go find them, you know, because they're really bad people. All while she's hiding them under her roof, right? Anyways, she later let them down on like through the window, something of the sort, and just so they could leave. Excuse me. So listen, before she let them down, she's like, you know, life for a life, okay? I risk my life saving you. So what I would like is if you can save me and my entire family. So they told her to put a cord. It says, where is it? It says tie a scarlet cord in the window, okay? So basically, if she was to tie a scarlet cord in the window, when they attack the land, she and her family would be saved. And they were like not playing. They were like, listen, if any of your family member is outside, they will die. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so that was what needed to happen, okay? So because she saved them, she did a noble thing. She saved them, and they were willing to save her life. Okay, here is the message. And this was all out of Joshua 2, by the way, so you can just read the entire scripture. So it just goes to show you that nobody goes to waste for God. That's just God's way, and he keeps giving me these messages. That's just God's way of just showing the world that nobody goes to waste. Nobody is an outcast. He can use anyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone, okay? And you know, you really don't want to put your mouths on anybody. You really don't want to put your mouths on anyone, because you don't know who God can use, and you don't know whose hearts actually believe in God. You don't know. Okay, so don't put your mouth on anybody, not because they're not professing to be believers, they're not professing to be Christians, or you know, whatever you believe in. Don't put your mouths on them. All right. So even though Rahab was a prostitute, she believed in God. It says, you know, she I think because of her job, you know, she meets a lot of men, you know, they're probably soldiers, and they tell her all sorts of stories, okay? So she heard about the story of like what God did at the Red Sea, right? She heard about that story, and then she heard about like the wanderings of the Israelites in the wilderness, and she also heard about like the recent victory over the Amorites. Okay. And so because of that, she's like, hold up. So yeah, that means that. And what it's so funny because how this lady is living in sin, right? And she's hearing these stories from probably from these men, right? And slowly, or maybe quickly, she's being converted. She now had her heart, it says her heart was melted. Her heart melted, and she was changed, and the fear of God came upon her. Okay. She also told the spies that the entire Canaan, the land of Canaan, feared the Israelites because of what they heard that God was doing. So the spies needed to know this and take that back to Joshua, just so they can feel like at ease. Okay, that they're already being feared. Okay. So you need to understand that hearing all those news about what God was doing actually converted her. It converted her and made her believe that the God of the Israelites was the true and living God. Now, she was living in this corrupt pagan culture, so she couldn't just go out there and scream at the top of her lungs that, hey, listen, just letting you know the God of the Israelites is really the true and living God. She couldn't. So she probably had her faith and had her belief in secret, and she probably was expecting this attack. She probably knew that one day the Israelites were gonna come and attack the land of Canaan, and she was probably like, listen, man, I do not want to be here. I want to be saved. Okay. So you need to understand that God didn't need Rahab. Let me just say this right now. God didn't need Rahab to help the spies, okay? Because Rahab had a choice. When they came to her seeking lodging, and she helped them, and then once the soldiers and the kings found out, she had a choice. She could have handed them over. She could have been like, wait a minute, so you're about to kill my people? No, thank you. She could have handed them over, right? And be like, well, I'm not going to help you kill my people, or I'm not going to help you conquer this land. She could have said that. Okay, because I'm telling you, there is some people, when you're on your journey to the promised land, hallelujah, when you're on your journey to the promised land, God knows that you cannot do it alone. Okay, and there is people who God have put in your life. Some of them may have helped you, and others, they actually thought there's other people who actually thought that if they didn't help you, somehow you weren't going to get to the land. There's people who literally think that if they don't help you, you are not going to get your inheritance. And that is a lie from the pit of hell, because I'm telling you, if Rahab had given up the spies, if Rahab had let the soldiers capture the spies, you best believe another way would have opened up. God would have opened up another way, and the Israelites would have still conquered the land of Canaan. Why? Because it was their inheritance. They were heirs to that land as promised to their ancestors. Okay, there is literally people in your life right now who truly believe that you cannot make it without them, and God is saying that is a lie. I am just giving you an opportunity to be part of greatness. God gave Rahab an opportunity to be great, to be part of destiny. He did not need her help. He just gave her an opportunity to save her life and her family. Out of everybody in the land of Canaan, she was the only person who was saved, and her entire family, simply because she helped God's chosen people. Okay. So when people choose not to help you and think that you're going to fail without them, they have essentially stopped their own blessing and kind of robbed themselves from redemption. Because she was able to, after it was all said and done, Rahab ended up becoming part of the Israelites. Okay, you know, and she married some Israelite guy, Salmon, something like that, okay? And I'm pretty sure she was no longer a prostitute after all that. She became a heroine, okay? She did things that a lot of people couldn't do. She did things that a lot of people would not do because of fear. She was a risk taker, and she was brave, and she was courageous, okay? On your journey, God will send people to help you, and they could choose to or not to help you, okay? And if they choose not to help you, God will send someone else to help you, okay? You're not going to miss your inheritance because you didn't get the help that you needed. Because God sees and knows the future, okay? You cannot miss your inheritance. You cannot miss the promised land because you don't get the help, all right? The people who help you on your journey to the promised land will in turn save their life, and maybe in other cases redeem themselves, reap a harvest, get a blessing, something. But there is always going to be a reward when people help God's people, okay? Always going to be a reward. So you really don't want to count anybody out ever, because God can use anyone and everyone. Okay, God was able to look past Rahab's sin, and he saw her heart, and he saw that she had a heart for him. She not only believed in him, but she actually had faith that he was the true and living God. Okay, so when all people saw was her sin, it says, for God don't look at the outward appearance of man, but he sees the heart. And that's what he saw. He saw a woman who had a heart for God, living in a pagan culture. And he gave Rahab the opportunity to save herself and her family. He didn't need her help. He just gave her the opportunity to do that. All right, guys. I hope this message was able to bless you. You know, clear up some things that you probably didn't know in the story, in the life of Rahab. But yeah, it just goes to show you that, listen, whatever your sin is, or you feel like, oh my gosh, no, I'm an outcast, I'm a this, I'm a that, you are not. God is ready to use you. He is ready to use your good qualities. He's ready to use the characteristics that sin has built. Okay? I'm telling you, sin has a way of building your character. That's another message. Sin has a way of building your character. Because think about it. For Rahab to feel remotely comfortable to take the risk that she did, that she took with the spies, she must have been already used to taking risk with people, okay? So sin has a very interesting way of building your character, because we can agree that she was a risk taker. We can agree that she was a brave woman. We can agree that she was courageous, okay? We can agree of all that. So when God can wipe away your sin, you're left with those good qualities. You're left with those characteristics, right? So yeah. Listen, man, whatever your sin is, you're not too far gone for God to use you. You are not too far gone for God to use you. Just like he used Rahab and turned a prostitute into a heroine, he can turn you from whatever into somebody great. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and see you soon.